So now let's see the addressing and the traffic part. Client IP assignment, like for this SSID, whichever the SSID you will select here, the Pune guest, currently we are working on it. So for that SSID, if the client will connected with that SSID, so which IP address it should get, and from which VLAN it will get the IP address, that you can configure from addressing and the traffic part. So generally we are configured that guest profile. Why? Because if we have some guest users are available, so they cannot communicate with our internal network and they can't interfere over the internal network. So that's why we have separately isolate like the guest network and the internal network. So that's why generally we are configuring the guest profile, right? So here in the Meraki, the very good option is available if you want to isolate the guest and the internal network with each other. So the net mode, that is use a Cisco Meraki DHCP. So client receive the IP address in isolated network, and the range is from the 10.0.0. and the subnet /8 network. So whenever the client will connect with this SSID, and if you have connected selected this net mode, so they will get the IP from this range. And the client cannot communicate with each other, but maybe they can communicate with the device with our wired LAN. So if you want to disable the communication between the client guest IP address and our wired LAN, so just click here on the SSID firewall setting. Okay, and here you can see the policies are available, the internal firewall policy. That this policy is not your firewall policy, but this is the firewall rule of this Meraki dashboard. So if you will click here on the deny, so protocol will any and the destination will local LAN, port also will be the any, and the comment whatever the means the wireless client accessing LAN. If you will click here on the deny and if you will save, then the user cannot the guest user cannot communicate with your internal local LAN. And you can also configure the layer 7 firewall rule, like if you want to allow some specific URL for this SSID, or you want to block some specific URL, so you can select from here add 7 firewall rule. See, HTTP host name. So there are as I have mentioned previously, some categories are available. If you want to deny the policies, video and the music related, or the sports category, all the sports or the specific sports you want to deny, so you can do from here. Okay, and if you want to remove this rule, then you can remove from here. And if you want to allow some specific firewall rule, but this is only for the means do not confuse with L3 and the L7. L3 is your user cannot communicate with local LAN, and the layer 7 is specifically like we can say the URL filtering. This one is you want to, you can select the bandwidth, like how many bandwidth you want to allocate per client. So 1 Mbps, 500, 100 kbps, or the unlimited. Per SSID also you can set the bandwidth here, shape traffic on this SSID or don't shape. So accordingly it will means shape the traffic on this for this specific SSID. And some default rules are also available for the WebEx Sky, all the videos and the music. So for that this DSCP tag available, so you can also enable and disable that specific traffic shaping rule, which are by default available. And if you will click here on the save change, so your change will save. Okay, now let's go back. Now again we have returned to uh, this address and traffic part. And if you are configuring the internal SSID, this is for the I have shown for the guest. But if you are want to configure the internal SSID, and you want that users are getting the IP address from your DHCP server, so you just click here, and you have to mention the VLAN tagging. So whatever the VLAN you have selected for that specific SSID, as example, I have selected the VLAN 10, and if I will save the configuration, so whenever the user will connect with this SSID Pune guest, so he will get the IP address from the VLAN 10, and VLAN 10 will available into your whatever the L3 switch core switch available, and it will ask for the query with DHCP server, and the client will get the IP address by using of that VLAN 10. So you just have to mention like which VLAN is layer 3 VLAN, and you have to just here mention the VLAN ID only. Okay, if you want to do the content filtering, then that is available into only net mode, right? And go to RF profile. If you want to increase the power of your AP, so some radio settings are also available, so that will resolve your range related issues. See here, the default indoor profiles and the default outdoor profiles are by defaultly available, but if you want to configure your own profile, then you can also configure here some also by default profiles related to auditorium, classroom profile, outdoor profile. So according to that profile, and if you want to configure new profile from scratch, and manually you want to configure the power of that AP and the limit and the other things, so you can also configure from here, right? See the per AP and the per SSID. Means if you want to configure this setting for that per AP or that per SSID, if you will select per SSID, then this change will implement whenever this SSID is available on that all the access point. Here the bandwidth and other things are also available, so you just have to check and you have to configure according to your requirement. But Meraki has already provided some by default profiles, so that is really helpful, and you can also use it. See default indoor profiles, so the maximum power is 30, and the for the default outdoor profile, so they have also the power and the other things they have configured here. So if you want to do any changes, then as I have mentioned, you can configure from here. Okay, now let's go back here, and whatever the changes you have done, you just have to click on this save button. So this is the part of the configuration of this specific SSID. Now as I mentioned, if you want to configure this splash page, then how we can do it, let me show you. Okay, so for the Pune guest SSID, we didn't selected this place page. So first of all, we have to go to that specific SSID, go on the Pune guest, edit setting, let me back, click on the black button. I want to show you. Yes, here also you will get the idea, entire idea, like this place page related, splash page enabled or not. So here we can see the status is no. So if you want to enable it, then just click on the edit setting. Okay, here this splash page option is available, Meraki authentication and my radius server, which I have explained you. So let's click on the Meraki authentication. Okay, now again go to this splash page. So now the options are available, and we can manually configure this splash page for this profile. Okay, so some official theme like the modder or the fluid, what you want to do, the custom theme. So create something new. So copy of modem, you can copy it. Custom splash URL, like on which URL you want to redirect the traffic, like whenever the user connected with this SSID, so on which URL you want to redirect them, you can select from here. Okay, let me click on the modern, and here some colors are also available. If you will select the color, let me say the red color, if I will select, okay, and if I will click on the preview, so you can also show this guest sorry, the splash page. So you can see the color of sign in button has changed, that is red. Now let me change this color again, so you will get an idea what I want to exactly show you. I have selected a yellow button, yellow color. See, here the yellow and this one is the red one. Okay, now if you want to redirect it on that specific URL, then you can also add that URL here. But let me only click. Now customize your message. So if you want to add any message, customize message whenever the first time user connected with this place page, so you can also add this message. So welcome to network lab, sorry, the network lab. Okay, so let me close this. If I will click on this preview button, so you can see here the by default the welcome message, you can see here, welcome to network lab. Okay, now let me again change the color. Done. And uh, if you want to add this place page logo, currently there is no any logo of available. So if your organization have any logo is available, so you can also add here. So I have one Google logo is available. Let me show you how to upload it and how to add into your uh, splash page. So choose file, click on the logo which is available. The supported format is, you can see the PNG, JPEG and the GIF format. Okay, click on Google and upload it, and save changes. URL overwrite, continue URL. Okay, yes, the URL trying page, yes. Okay, now click me here, preview. So you can see the logo is available, color has changed. Here the yellow color and the without the logo. I have changed the color of the sign in button. I have added the manual message and also the logo. So this logo can people can see whenever they are first time login in by on this SSID. You can also add the custom URL whenever the users you want to redirect. Okay, and this place frequency you can also select from here, means every day, every 2 day, every 4 day, when this splash page will reflect to this single user. Okay, and if you want to add the user, then you can also add them. Dun, dun, dun. Where is the option? Access control SSID. Where is user? Yes, users. Okay, so here I have already added some users, like this is the user detail. Okay, you can change it. Now if you want to add one new user, then sorry, this is not the configuration part. So this is the configuration part of the SSID and the guest users, or if you want to configure the new guest profile or the internal SSID, if you want to configure the splash page, then we have seen in this video. In the next video I will show you, like, if you want to configure the new user, if you want to add the new guest user, and if you want to limit the timing, like for how much time the guest user will get an access of your network. So that type of